Hey, I'm Josh. I live in Fairbanks, Alaska, and we were about to get a big snowstorm. So when my friend's snowblower bit the frost, I decided it was finally time to throw my Honda snowblower on a sled and pull it via the trail system from my cabin to theirs with my snow machine. And this is a video capture of me putting it on the sled and getting it all the way across the valley via the rough trails through the woods, avoiding the trees, not damaging the snowblower itself. You can see here the chute is getting close to the trees as I pass by, so I'll fix that in a second. And this is a good test of my new Insta360 X5 camera. It really is mind-blowing in the 360 footage that it captures, how you can move it around in post-processing and zoom in like this. Turns out I actually had to start the snow machine up, of course, to turn the chute, because that's the only way you move it with the electric snowblower. But it's really mind-blowing, and it kind of breaks my brain of what this camera is capable of. This is shot in 1080, not 4K, so it could be looking better when I zoom in like that. But it's such a neat camera. I have it mounted right from the handlebars, just on the left side of the machine, and you'll see as I go by some branches where I've got to duck and get out of the way, it's plowing through the branches and knocking snow off. But these are the trails from my place across the Goldstream Valley just north of Fairbanks, going into the valley to where my friend lives. I just ratchet strapped the snowblower down to the Siglin sled. It's UHMW ultra high molecular weight plastic, so it flexes in the cold and isn't brittle. It's a classic material used up here in Fairbanks in the deep cold for wintertime things. Glides really well on the snow. You can move it around one-handed, no problem. Pretty lightweight. But this is going through the end of my property on the trails, going to the public lands of the Goldstream Recreation Area. Kind of fun to finally make this happen. I've been talking about putting the snowblower on my Siglin and towing it to friends' houses when we get big snowstorms to help them out, and it was fun to finally get an opportunity to make this happen. So you see that sign there down on the right side, private road. I welcome foot traffic and people coming through and neighbors that live up there through, trying to keep traffic down a little bit so it doesn't turn into snow machines zooming up and down at all hours of the night. There's not much traffic up by me, it's pretty quiet, but just a better way of saying what most people have of private property, no trespassing. It's a little harsh. I don't think I ever need to get to that point. But these are the trails right up my backyard from my cabin. 3 properties I have just north of Fairbanks. I'm the first one down the trails right now after a little bit of snow that we got, so I'm having to go through a lot of overhanging branches and small trees that are across the trail, knocking snow all over me and trying to keep them out of my pogies. It's really fun to have this access right out my back door. Well, I don't have a back door really, it's just the front door of my cabin. Right from the steps of my cabin, basically instantly onto the trail system in my yard, across my property, and onto a huge network of public trails that I can basically take anywhere in the state for the most part. You can go almost any direction as far as you can dream, literally right from my front steps. It's truly incredible. I'm very fortunate to have such a piece of property and even do this, like travel by snow machine from my place over to so many different friends' cabins in the woods around Fairbanks. I can visit so many people around Fairbanks itself, not even just in the valley here via the trails, but getting around Fairbanks, not necessarily downtown, but all the way around the town, various places my friends live. It's pretty easy access to get all over. It's hard to replicate that anywhere else in the country. Even up in Alaska, there's not a whole lot of places you can actually do that are on the road system that are actual real towns. So dropping down the hillside here, getting closer to the valley bottom. These black spruce trees are super flexible, and this happens all the time. They can be called the drunken forest, where the permafrost melts in the, well, not the permafrost, but the ice in the ground. Permafrost, permanent ice. The upper layer of the ice in the ground melts in the summertime, and all the trees will kind of be at various angles, so it looks like a bunch of drunken trees. But they're also, when they're dense like they just were there, they're pretty thin trunked, so they'll grow really quickly straight up, and then they're not very strong side to side, so when they do get a snow load, they get bent over like that, and they'll be literally straight across the trail. And you can choose to plow right into those, but you don't always know how big the trunk is or how hard that's gonna hit, and it's a lot of snow that they hold. So here's down the main trail that cuts across the valley at the power line, dropping into what we call the duck pond. Head across the duck pond, and then we'll get to Goldstream Creek, and I'm on the other side of the creek in the valley. Then it's only a few minute ride, really, when I'm not towing a snow machine or a snow blower with my snow machine. All the snow implements that I have up here. I really like doing things like this. It brings a satisfaction level to having a brand new snow machine, getting to actually use it for legitimate functional purposes that are beyond just recreation. Like, I'm not just out having fun riding it, I'm actually functionally helping somebody out by bringing a snowblower over to their place when their whole driveway is under a foot of snow, or going to be. Even when I get out on just fun rides without the sled, when I'm just on the machine, I'm trying to pack down the trails whenever there's new snow, so it's easier for skiers and bikers. Sometimes I'll pull the sled, you see the red Siglin sled that the snowblower is on, and I'll fill it with snow and try and compact it and make it really heavy, so when I pull that behind my machine, it's not only packing down the fresh snow, but it's also smoothing out the trail even smoother than what my snow machine track provides. I just did that the other day, and it's really satisfying to travel all the trails throughout the valley and leave them in a really good shape for people. So dropping into Goldstream Creek here. This is the lowest point in the valley, of course. I saw 51 below a little bit earlier this winter. And this is the spot that I've found it. I was riding around in the middle of the night with a thermometer trying to find the coldest spot, having to stand in places for like 20 minutes so the thermometer would adjust to the new place. And when it finally settled out, it stabilized at 51 below. Not too common down here, but it gets close to that quite frequently. It's still kind of rare to hit 50 below, but that's one of the places that you'll find it locally. So this area is really neat. This is what some friends and I call Big Birch. Right down in the valley bottom along the creek is this huge birch stand, which is really rare because birches are usually higher up in the hills, and there's this stand, a little pocket of really big birch trees. It's a pretty special spot, quite uncommon. So I'm on the north side of the creek now, hitting the main trail system. This is where most of the traffic is and most of the trails are in the Goldstream Valley on the north side of the creek. South side is closer to the hills, so there's not as much flat land to put the trails through. Going across the hillside is a lot more challenging, so more of the trails are in the flatter wetland area north of the creek in the Goldstream Valley. Really fun trails out here. I love this open sky You know, it's hard to complain living up in the hills where it's 20 or 25 degrees warmer up at my place than down here. But every time I come down here, I really miss living in this low valley area where the spruce trees aren't quite as tall, and you just, even in the trees, you just look out and there's so much sky. It's such a big sky area and it's more open. I really love this kind of country. This is some of my favorite spots on the planet. This is probably the most popular trail going across the valley. Also the scenery I love the most. You're in the trees, but you can see so much. Again, feel really fortunate for where I live, just having such incredible access to all this. Literally right from my front door. So I'm pretty surprised at how well this snowblower is sitting on the sled. It's not budged an inch, I don't think. It's been riding really well. I have it ratchet strapped down pretty tight, and I plan for the flex in the sled, because as you ride over the bumps, and it's such a long piece of plastic, it's 10 plus feet long, so that will flex with weight on it as it goes over all the undulations in the trails. And it's not really been moving at all. I'm really impressed. Going better than I thought it might. Coming up to the turn to my friend's place, getting back in the woods, heading to the north side of the valley. Private piece of property here in the middle of the valley. Built that structure. Never seen anyone at it, but it's privately owned. I think they ironically actually use it in the summertime, when access to this kind of area where it's just wetland and huge tussocks and wet ground. It's really hard, but I think they live nearby. Off-grid property. So this trail here, it leads right to my friend's front door, their cabin. It's a private trail. I think there's a fork in it coming up, but it's mostly just a private trail that goes specifically to their place. Across kind of the quote-unquote backyard of their property. Getting back into the woods, out from the open area of the wetland valley. I'm glad I moved the chute on the snowblower so it wasn't reaching out like it had been, catching these trees. Gets pretty tight in here. You can see I'm pushing snow in front of the snow machine. I'm continually impressed by the power of this machine. It's a Skidoo Scandic 900 4-stroke with a super wide track. And while the sled is not very heavy like the snowblower, it feels heavy in hand and to like move onto the sled, but really it's not that much weight pulling on that such slick plastic like I was mentioning before. But even when the snow machine's literally pushing a wall of snow, kind of snow plowing, there's almost no felt tug on that sled. I have to look back and make sure that the thing didn't come detached and it's still there. Constantly impressed by this machine. It's been so fun. And it doesn't even, you know, when I go out on recreational rides across the valley like I was mentioning, it doesn't even feel like just a utility machine where it's only purpose driven. It's also very fun to ride. Really enjoyable. Arriving at my friend's cabin in Goldstream. Just about accomplished. Mission of snowblower delivery. Really satisfying. It's been something I've been talking about for quite a long time. So, great to get this done. Thanks for watching. check out another video. Lots more of this. Cheers.